welcome to the Orlando Pirates versus Mamelodi Sundowns post-match press conference. We are joined by the away team head coach, Coach Rulani Mokwena. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks, Lady T.
Coach, if you may just give us a brief summary of the match from your perspective.
Yeah, let me start off by greeting members of the media. Good evening to everybody. I thought it was a difficult game. Two good teams. Very, very well coached opposition. On a difficult pitch also. We had a little bit of a joke with the coach before because you know we've both seen the pitch in a better state, and it was very difficult for rhythm, for extra pass, and some of the moments because the ball held up a little bit, and so the tempo suffered a bit. And that affected our rhythm at times, but we had a very good start, dominant. Tactically, I think positionally we were in very good areas. And then of course we dealt very well with the structure of rest defense to deal with the counter-attacks, and never really suffered any serious situations or threats at goal apart from that build-up mistake where Ronan had to come through and help us out in the first half. And we also had a couple of transition moments where we had numerical superiority, and we were let down sometimes by the wrong decision. But okay, and then in the second half you expect the opposition to react, and they react, and they induce a little bit more pressure. Our line has to drop slightly, and because we had to drop the line slightly, and the amount of work that the front three had put on, and then of course with Sipho Mbule's yellow was a little bit difficult with the subs. But then when we tried to have Maseko and Morena to try to put a bit more pressure so that we could stretch the line a little bit higher and compact the midfield, we looked a little bit better, but then of course the fullbacks became a little bit more aggressive. Because our strikers were more central instead of in wide areas like we did in the first half with Lucas and Peter, and so that gave a little bit more aggression for Paseka and Shandu. We then had to react with that by trying to create 2v2s on the sides, but still keep 2v2s in the center with the two center backs. But it was a little bit difficult also to get momentum, and you've got to credit Orlando Pirates for reacting. But then of course then you've got to give even more credit to Mamelodi Sundowns, because we showed today that not only do we, in moments when the game needs us to be dominant, can we be dominant and play from the back and play good football, but when needs arise for us to roll up our sleeves and suffer a little bit, we are prepared to suffer and suffer together. And when I look at the game, I haven't yet, but when I look from that perspective, even when we did defend around the box, I don't really remember a clear-cut opportunity for Orlando Pirates, even when we were deep in and around our box. So big compliments to the players for incredible work, incredible commitment, and a very important victory.
Now open for questions from the floor. Pelon, please identify yourself as well as the media company you represent prior to asking your question. We've got our two roving mics. Are there any questions from the floor? Any questions? Noted. Anyone else? The point is that I don't continuously ask any questions, so can I just get 3 questions? First 3 questions. Thank you. Noted.
Sure, Lawrence.
said about the quality of your players and the quality of your coaching staff, but just the level of like intensity that goes into your fitness regime to get the players to be able to execute what you want to do. Like how hard is that and how much work actually goes into that? Because you can see shifting to different schemes, Rivaldo for example, all over the place. So how hard is it to get them at that level of fitness?
Mm, it's a good point. We will have to be here the whole day. They, there's a price on every ticket. How we want to play is quite taxing, and the fact that we play every 2-3 days also doesn't help because the recovery, and now the modern research coming out from one of the top institutes in the UK is saying that for a 90 minutes match, actually now at the tempo that the game is being played at, in the past you would need 24, maybe even 48 hours, and that's what you would have as your match day +1 and your match day +2, which were depending on different physical methodologies and principles. Mainly one would be a recovery day and the other would be a day off, but depending on the preference. But the latest research is that now you need close to 72 hours for the body to completely flush out not just the lactic acid that is accumulated, but many other waste products that affect the body due to the exertion in 90 minutes. And then you've got to train the way you play, because what we try to do is build what I call muscle integrity. The muscle must respond to the demands of the action and the regularity of the actions, with very limited time in between for recovery. But I don't want to go into that. That's why I said we need so much time to talk about that, because there's a very close relation between and football is no longer the genetic type of fitness that you have. We try to train in a specific way that matches directly the model or the way we want to play, and at times that puts us really on the threshold, and that's why we experience so many injuries and muscular related injuries. But for sure this is continuous work, is continuous refinement, and but that is not just only in relation to my understanding based on my background of studying sports science, but also we've got an incredible sports science department, we've got an incredible medical department, and we've got an incredible conditioning and fitness department, so a lot of credit needs to go to them. And also we've got incredible football players who are great professionals, who look after themselves off the pitch and drink lots of water, rest a lot, and train very, very hard every single day. So big compliments to the entire football club and the players in these type of moments. When you have this type of results with a lot of consistency, it's not about one person. The credit has to go to the entire organization, from the security guards at the gate there when we arrive and they greet us with smiles, to our ground staff that we arrive and they're preparing the training pitch, to the kitchen staff who are preparing the breakfast for the players, to the office administrators, and a lot of people you guys don't even know who work in the finance department, like Jacob and Belinda and that type of stuff, because you need an entire organization. Our team managers are at a very good level with Tami and Kakhliso, so there's a lot of credit that needs to go to the entire organization, from the chairman, the Motsepe family, all the way down to our bus driver and our ground staff.
Coach, now that you've secured your ride home and your breakfast tomorrow, can I ask you, were you surprised at how poorly Orlando Pirates started the game? They looked almost wilting. There was none, especially in the face of your aggressive pressing. They really did seem to wilt. And how much is that a function of coaching? I mean, how much is the revving up before a game important to get the guys as they go out on the pitch ready to go into battle?
You are definitely very experienced, because you put a very, very difficult question so well.
I'm looking for a great answer.
That's where I'm going, because you are looking for an incredible headline. But I can't go there. I've said this before, and it's a little bit the media's fault, because you guys wait for me, and you wait for me, and you wait for me, and so I've learned that I've got to be very, very careful, because I have different rules as compared to other coaches. So that question is a double-edged sword, and I would rather not talk about Orlando Pirates and the coach of the opposition, except to say that they responded very well in the second half, and that shows that there is coaching in that sense, for sure, because you get the team to respond in a good way. So and then of course I would love to just keep my focus on Mamelodi Sundowns, because that's where my bread is buttered.
1-0 to you, sir.
I'm worried, because I know how aggressive you'll come back, so it could be 1-1 soon.
Good evening, Coach.
Good evening, Karao.
I mean, Coach, your style of football is, style, swagger, finesse, beauty, and all of that. But at some stages of the game,
It's not as good as your English, by the way.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
But to be honest, when there's that sense of when you need to go cheek to cheek, shoulder to shoulder, eyeball to eyeball, or just reduce your level, to the opposition, you can do that. Not just Pirates, but all the teams. How do you do that? Because you on the sidelines, the players then gauge themselves. Okay, which level they are at? We need to be at that level. Thank you.
Thanks, Karao, and big compliments to you for your investment in the game, Look, we try to play a certain way, and it's a way, as I've always said, it's a way that sometimes gets me a little bit into trouble. And also, I think it's a way that if you're not watching live at the stadium from that perspective, you don't get to see the detail in some of the things, and they can be easily masked by watching the game on TV, and you don't really see how good our players are. But the game of football belongs to the players, and I've just got to give them incredible compliment, because they are an excellent bunch of football players and incredible human beings. Davi.
Coach.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, not sure. On battery is dead.
You just switched it off. It was on.
No,
so you
it was-
just go and ask.
No,
don't
no.
fiddle with the microphone, please.
It was on.
Can we get the other one?
It was on. It was red when it
Try not to fiddle with the button. Just ask the question, please. Pretty please.
Okay. Coach Villa from SABC.
Sure, David.
Congratulations on the victory. It's 1 year, 18 or 19 days, unbeaten in the league. 100% winning record. You look at these first 7 games that you've won now. You've beaten just today, you're number 2 from last season. All different kind of teams that you've faced in the 7 matches. What can you say about the level of competition and also what you faced as compared to last season so far?
It's a good question. I think the Premier League is very competitive. I think if you see the results, you just have to watch. Some of the results. every single day you've got surprises, you know. And just yesterday there were quite a couple of surprising results, and it's not easy to win games in the league, and that's why I say this team is not given the credit that it deserves, because to have this mentality and to have this consistency is not easy, you know. And we also always try to improve our game and try to improve the way we play, and we change quite a lot of things, and we try to be a little bit more unpredictable this season, but we've been asked a lot of very different questions by different teams. There's teams that have come very aggressive at us with high pressure, and we've had to find solutions by not moving too far away from our ideas about the game, even under the most pressure. There's teams that have sat in and defended low. There's teams that have done a little bit of both, and maybe sometimes in phases. And then there's also teams that have been extremely physical against us, extremely. So, as I said, the game of football belongs to the players. We work very, very hard. I know the responsibility that falls on my shoulders as the leader, because to instill that intensity, it has to start, of course, with the type of leadership that we have to provide. And together with my technical team, I watched 7 games of Orlando Pirates before this game, and we put in a lot of hours. Davi, but that's our job. It is what it is, and we just have to keep moving and keep our feet firmly on the ground. We've now got 24 hours. We've always had that rule, 24 hours, that I've stolen from Phil Jackson in basketball, where he says you've got 24 hours to celebrate victories, and you've got 24 hours to feel sorry for yourself in defeat. And so we've got 24 hours now. Good recovery, good rest, lots of water. Come back tomorrow, prepare some clips. There are things that I was not so happy about, and there were things that I was very happy about. So we'll show the players tomorrow morning as they arrive. So there's work tonight, and then we start the preparations for what will be a very important and difficult match on Saturday.
Follow 3 questions. Ms. Kedman, Temba, and Jeffrey. Sorry guys, I have to cut it at 3.
Yeah.
Coach has answered 4 questions in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
So follow 3, please.
I'll try to be shorter.
And mention Belinda from the Tigers office.
You forgot the kitchen.
My sincere apologies, guys. Sorry for not taking all the credit. Sorry, I apologize.
Maskepa from Power FM.
Sure, Maskip.
Coach, in the 7 matches that you say you've watched, I think Maswanga is someone that you would have seen a lot, because in a lot of their positive moves, Orlando Pirates, and how they scored their goals, he was always integral. But today it looked like there was a plan or a press around him, because he was always pickpocketed. Was that the plan? Was that the idea? And also in terms of the subs of Maseko and Mendieta, would you say you got what you wanted out of them, or were you pleased with what they did?
The greatest benefit of coaching Black Poison is that I get to be right at the heart of where football is. And so I've seen Maswangai play. I've seen him play and play free, and I know what he can do. I've seen Zakele Lipasa in a cup final, Black Poison versus I can't remember the name. Snege Chilas, and yes, and scoring the goal against Black Poison. So a lot of people say, this one is obsessed with football, this one has got no social life, blah 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 blah. But really, the truth is, it helps me to have so much information about who are the players coming, what they are strong at, and what they are so. And that background information helps a little bit. But no, we don't plan around any single individual, but it's just that we do a lot of work behind the scenes and prepare. in relation to did we get what we needed? Yes, they needed minutes after being out for quite some time, especially Tapelo Morena and Tapelo Maseko. And Mendieta, we have to be a bit patient because there's a language barrier that's still there. So from a tactical way, I've got to continue improving my Spanish and keep using Marcelo Allende a lot for that. But yeah, slowly but surely we will get there and we'll keep improving. We've still got a lot of work to do as a team. We'll still get better and we just have to keep, as I said, our feet firmly on the ground and remain focused.
Thank you, Coach. Time much lectures from sports coach.
Short team.
Marcelo Allende, a marvel to watch. He was orchestrating everything in the middle. At some stage, he was marked by 3 players, but he managed to get out of such situation. How do you then channel him to have such energy? How do you then have him to be the player that he has grown to be since he came to South Africa?
There are things that some players possess that you can never coach or take credit for, and Marcelo has so many of these attributes. And above everything else, there's 2 things about Marcelo. One is he's got an incredible football brain. I think he'll be a top coach, to tell you the truth. The level of tactical discussions that I have with Marcelo, he provokes my brain so much. And then, of course, because he's surrounded by very good players, your level rises because iron sharpens iron. And when you, of course, every single day you are with the Tembazwane, you are with Rulani Mokwena, you are with Peter Shalulile, Lucas Ribeiro, you are with Bongani Zongo, you are training with, and then, of course, even in the midfield, imagine in small-sided games, it's a Sipho Mbule versus Marcelo Allende. Of course they're going to get better because of the level that they have, and so they help each other and they compete healthily for positions, and that helps. And so the coach can never take credit for that. It's there are some things that the players have, and then, as I said, the second thing about Marcelo Allende is what an incredible human being. What an incredible human being. The DTC was training on the B pitch. I told you the story of the Serviettes, Coach Serviettes. Marcelo's ending up Serviettes with this coach. The DTC was training the other day after us. The kids were sitting, waiting for the session to start. Marcelo went and handshook, took his cap off and handshook each and every single one of them. I mean, I watch these things, me as a guy from outside, and it's the small things for me that matter. It's the small human qualities for me that they matter more than football. I must tell you, Titi, being a good human being for me is far more important than being a good footballer. Being a good footballer is a great bonus. And we are just fortunate that in this team we've got some people who are just incredible footballers who happen to be incredible human beings, and they help the coach who is full of mistakes, full of flaws and weaknesses, and is so imperfect, and they help me to learn and to improve myself, and I become a better person just by being around them.
Final question.
Thanks, Chief. My name is Mshegi from Radio Sunny South, Coach. Last season, at your 7th game, you had 18 points. This season, 7th game, we have 21 points. Are we likely to see you do better than last season in terms of points because you finished at 17 last season?
So sure. So such a long way to go. I wasn't even aware, to be honest, that we are on 21 points. No, I'm serious. No, but you guys think I'm joking. I go game by game. I am dead serious with you. I really go game by game. It's pointless to count points. Excuse the is it a pun? Excuse the pun. It's pointless to count points at this time of the season because no league has ever been won at this point in the season, and football being football and being so unpredictable, so much more can happen. And so we just have to go game by game and keep focused. The credit needs to go to the players for big improvements, not only in the performance but also in the results, and even still with an understanding that we can do better and we can perform better and win more games.
On that note, we've reached the conclusion of our press conference with our team coach. We'll be joined shortly by the team coach.
Thank you so much,
Thanks for having us.
ladies and gentlemen. Thank